Keeping a clean house with ADHD is like playing a never-ending game of whack-a-mole. It's chaotic, it's messy, it's flitting around, undirected, and somehow making every room both slightly cleaner and yet slightly worse at the same time. And it's so much harder than it should be. Because traditional cleaning advice just wasn't built for us. Or we weren't built for it. Just work on one task at a time? Ma'am, my entire existence is working on 5 things at a time and getting them all to 12% completion. At best. Set a timer for 20 minutes and clean until it goes off. 20 minutes? Get bent. That is way too long and unfocused. If I got a timer running in the background for 20 minutes, I'm gonna have the most organized spice rack in Detroit. So let's talk about housekeeping with ADHD. Let's talk about how to work with your skills instead of against them. And let's talk about why cleaning top to bottom is a terrible idea. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Housekeeping isn't hard. In theory, we all know what needs to be done. But us ADHD peeps, we struggle with executive function and prioritization and task completion, which means every attempt to clean the house usually ends up looking something like this. I have to put the laundry away. So I open the sock drawer and I see that it's a mess. So naturally, I have to organize my entire dresser. And as I'm doing so, I find a book that belongs in my nightstand. So I go to the nightstand to put it away and I see a half-eaten granola bar. Well, I can't leave my nightstand in a state like this. I will never get to sleep again. So I start cleaning that. And down in the bottom, I find one of my planners from 2022 and I start flipping through it, looking at all the things that I have not accomplished in the last 3 years. Does that sound familiar to you? And this is why traditional cleaning advice just doesn't work for us. Our brains do not function in that linear way that neurotypical brains do. Yeah, common advice is to always clean top to bottom. And that makes sense for a lot of people. But if you're like me and you have ADHD, this is a recipe for disaster. And for filthy floors. The truth is, our brains are amazing, but we are so easily distractible. And the minute something gets boring, we are over it. We also take everything we hear to the extremes of being literal. So if you tell me to clean top to bottom, my ceilings are going to be cobweb free and there's going to be dog hair all over my carpet. So the trick for ADHD cleaning is not top to bottom. It is dirtiest to less dirty. It is urgent to important. Otherwise, you're going to be eating soup with a fork under the cleanest light fixtures in the county. So instead of starting with your ceiling fans, you need to start with the grossest part of your house. Have you had dishes in the sink for a week? Start there. Do your counters look like somebody murdered a pasta dinner? Wipe it off. Is there a science experiment growing in your refrigerator? Take care of that. Because here's the real secret. When you take care of the most visually offensive part of your home, it actually makes the rest of cleaning easier. Your brain gets this little dopamine hit because you're making progress and it's very visible and noticeable. And when that happens, you are more likely to keep going. Another thing that helps is to break a bigger cleaning task into minuscule steps. Break it down until it's just too small to ignore. Because listen, if I just write down clean my kitchen under my Tuesday day in my planner, my brain is going to spiral in a million different directions. It's not going to know where to start and none of it's going to get done. But if I reframe it into individual chunks and just pick one, like put the dishes away, wipe down the counter, wipe down the kitchen table, take out the trash. These are impactful, visible things, even though it's just one step. And getting even one of them accomplished is going to make a big difference in the chaotic feel of my kitchen. And yeah, it all needs to get done, but we just need to get it done one thing at a time. It's all about tricking your brain, all of it. The steps need to be so small that you are not going to panic and just sit back down with your phone and ignore all of it. And I mentioned earlier setting a timer, and yeah, 20 minutes, too long. We are not going to focus for 20 minutes, or if we do, we're going to focus on the wrong thing. But try 5 minutes. Tell yourself that you're going to work on one project for 5 minutes, and when that 5 minutes is up, you are free to stop if you choose to. And if you're able to continue, fantastic, keep going. But if you're not, that's fine too. Or turn on your favorite song, pull the grates off your stove, get as much of the stovetop clean as you can while that song is on, and when the song ends, you're free to put the grates back on and be done. Or, if your gremlin is willing, go ahead and finish wiping down the stove, and then it's done. I mentioned in a previous video how ADHD loves to make yourself the main character of a story, so narrate what you're doing out loud. Yeah, you're gonna feel silly, but who cares if it gets done, right? So make yourself the host of an imaginary HGTV show and narrate your way through your cleaning tasks. Another one that is only going to work for a certain subset of people is to tell yourself that every time a commercial starts, you're going to get up and clean something. Obviously, this isn't going to work for everybody because most of us pay for streaming services. For me, this is only going to work during a sporting event. But if you are someone who watches things that have commercials, while the commercial is running, you could be dusting your entertainment center. You could be wiping down a counter. You could load the dishwasher. And then when your show comes back on, you can go back and sit down and watch it. These things work not because of the 5-minute part of cleaning, but because it has an end point. We know when we can stop. And having that kind of get out of jail free card is so freeing to an ADHD brain. And listen, half the battle of cleaning with ADHD is staying in one area long enough to get that area clean. So some of the things that help me are to anchor myself in one room. I will bring a laundry basket into the room I need to clean, and anything that needs to go in a different room goes in the basket. I'm not worrying about getting that stuff put away right now, because if I leave this room, I'm not coming back in this room. I'm going to get distracted by something in the other room. Nobody wants that. So take a basket into the room with you. Everything that belongs somewhere else goes in that basket to be dealt with later. We are only focusing on the area that we are in right now. Or you could try the 10-item pickup rule so that you tell yourself, I'm going to put 10 items away. It has that end time that we're looking for to keep us on task, but we're also picking up 10 things. And if that's all you get done that day, okay. If you do that every single day for a week, that is 70 items that you are putting away. I heard somewhere that the average household in America has 300,000 items in it, which kind of sounds like a lot, but I bet I'm looking behind me. I guess I'm looking behind the camera, and I have boxes and boxes of sports cards, so I'll bet I have more than 300,000 items, which is insane. That's insane. I'm gonna need a minute. You also need to embrace the good enough method. Not every cleaning session has to be a deep cleaning, everything has to be perfect before I can sit down kind of thing. Sometimes just a surface level tidy is plenty. Instead of beating yourself up for the amount of things that you've let sit, just focus on getting the bed cleared off so that you don't have to deal with laundry before you go to bed. Just wash the utensils in the sink so you're not eating soup with a fork tonight. Just a little bit of order in a world of chaos can make all the difference. And listen, some of us work well with systems and routines and some of us don't. So if these next few tips don't resonate with you, that's okay. Not everything is going to be for everybody. But if you are someone who does work well with a system and a routine, you could try picking one thing per day. So instead of overwhelming yourself with all the things you have to do, on Mondays, you only worry about the kitchen. On Tuesdays, you only worry about the office. On Wednesdays, you only worry about the bathroom. And that way, one day per week, every room is getting clean and you're on this cycle and rotation so nothing has a chance to get too out of hand. Something that actually really does help me is to keep my cleaning supplies in every room. So I will buy like the big refill bottles, and I have like a collection of cheap dollar store spray bottles. So I always have disinfectant cleaner in the bathroom. I have a roll of paper towels in there. I have a section in my kitchen. I have a section in my office. The broom is always out in the kitchen, and the vacuum is actually always in the corner of my living room. Because when these things are out of sight for us, they are absolutely out of mind. So if I constantly have them visual, I am more likely to grab the vacuum and take care of the floors than if I had to dig it out of a closet every time Hawk went crazy and tore up another toy. You have to make these things fun for yourself. You don't have to gamify every aspect of your life, but you have to find a way to make things more fun and less full of dread. So maybe you have a playlist or a podcast that you're only allowed to listen to while you're cleaning. That way you're giving yourself something to look forward to instead of just letting yourself get buried in the minutia of, oh, I gotta clean. No, hey, I get to listen to that new murder podcast. So you have to reframe it in your brain so that you have something to look forward to in addition to the drudgery of just cleaning. Because cleaning with ADHD isn't about doing things the right way. It's about doing them in a way that actually works for us. So embrace the mess. Work in short bursts. Break things down into manageable tasks. And for the love of Pete, focus on progress over perfection. Because at the end of the day, a house that's kind of clean is actually better than a house that's spotless but impossible to maintain. Now go forth and clean, or pick something up and put it away. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you got something out of this video. I hope that it resonated with you. Don't forget to smash all those YouTube buttons and leave me a comment and let me know what your biggest ADHD cleaning struggle is. Let's commiserate with each other in the comments. And maybe if you have any other tips that could help other people, share those too, because we're building an incredible community here, and I learn something from every comment you guys leave me. And, you know, y'all are changing my life. So let's just keep that momentum going. I love you so much. I will see you next time. Bye.